Hey, here's your 5-minute quickie heads up. It's all about, well, you know more than you think you know, because you'll always know that, but you're more capable of knowing even more. And what I want to encourage you in this 5-minute quickie is to learn as much as you can, but not for just knowing. I want you to be a doer, a beer. Start being and doing and using that knowledge. And you're going to make this world grow into such a wonderful place and be part of this wonderful world of ours. Do have a listen.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey people, how are we doing? It's Paul from Personal Development Unplugged and a 5-minute quickie for you. Have you ever heard these sayings? Or have you, or someone close to you ever said this? I'm too set in my ways. Oh, I'm too old to learn that. You can't teach an old dog new tricks or anything similar of such BS. Because it doesn't matter. You see, I say that again. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you think that way, you're just thinking BS. Why do you say that, Paul? Well, it's just a belief, isn't it? A belief that stops you. It's a limiting belief. You have the capacity to learn more than you can ever imagine. And the thing is, and this is a subject for another podcast, the more you know, the less you know. Or the more you know that you know less than you really do know. Or you just know there's a lot more out there to learn, don't you? But it's true. You can't stop learning anyway. So if you can't stop learning, and in this place of personal development, self-improvement, we just want to learn, don't we? And we're going to do another pod on learning. But, just think. Let's cast your mind back, way, way, way back to when you were a baby. Yep. When you were a baby, you began to walk, didn't you? And some people might say, well, it's just subconscious, but you had to learn because babies learn initially consciously. Because if you've seen a baby trying to walk, it really is trying to balance consciously, which is so difficult. Watch anybody who's had too much to drink. That's the only time when you try to walk consciously, and it just doesn't work. But the thing is, they carry on and they learn. It's an incredible skill to walk, to run, to skip, but they do learn. Think a little bit more towards school time when you were learning to read. Think about it now. At that age, you're given a book with pictures and lines on, or you're made to follow these dots to make, well, they're letters, aren't they? But you didn't know that then. And this funny little shape may be an A or an A or a B and things like that. And with those tiny little brains, with a tremendous amount of capacity and potential, guess what? We learn to write. We learn to read. We learn to do so many things as we're growing. And that's even with our brains evolving and growing anyway. They're not even fully charged, as it were. All those wonderful experiences. So if you stop a minute and think, how much capacity have I got? I mean, some people say we only use 10% of the capacity of our brain. Now, I don't know about you, but I know quite a few people who don't even use that much. But I also know if that's only 10% and we can learn to do so much, there are people here on this world who are, and they are just, you can call, some people are a genius, but if they have the capacity to do that, same brains, maybe they're just wired slightly different, but we, maybe we don't want to be a genius, but we can learn absolutely anything if we put our mind to it because we've got the capacity. We've now got the experience over that small child, that baby, because we've now got a fully functioning brain. We've still got the experiences. Sometimes we have to throw away these old beliefs that, oh, I'm too old. Oh, never teach me that. I never get that. It's the beliefs that limit your learning. Because you've learnt so much. And especially on these type of podcasts and the books that you read. I know you probably read massive amounts and you listen to so much. You can learn, and you have learnt so much. And that's a massive foundation to carry on learning, because you've learnt so much, you've consciously forgotten what and how much, but it's still there. You know, sometimes we think, well, something goes in and the other bit pushes out, but no, it's still there when you ask for it, when you listen to the answers. If you ask a question about something inside and you've learned it before, it will come out. It always does. And with this massive foundation of learning, of potential, you have that potential for more learning, more experiences, more wisdom, and more understanding. I'll say that again. You have the potential for, well, it's unlimited potential for learning, wisdom, understanding, and thereby experience. Compare yourself now to that young baby or child. You think you've got massive advantages. And when you were a youngster, you were capable of doing so much. You wouldn't believe it if you were an adult and someone said to you, you can't walk, but you're going to walk. Or you're going to read those funny lines. Or you're going to write with a thing that makes those funny lines, and you're going to understand it. Yet we have wonderful literature. We have wonderful ways of documenting, of understanding, of sharing. Your streak's ahead. So I'm going to challenge you. Knowing that you're more than what you know already, and you have the unlimited potential, abundance of a potential to learn anything, to do anything, to dream, what would you learn? If you didn't have a belief, a limiting belief that said you couldn't learn, you know those beliefs that we talked about, the other ones, which is, what would this be like? What would this look like if it was easy? What would happen? Is it ridiculous? Is this ridiculous to think that you couldn't learn? That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Because all you need is information and curiosity. It's a matter, I guess, of just putting yourself in the right state and having the intention to learn. And we've talked about this so many times. When you put yourself in the right state and you say to your unconscious mind, this is my intention, it just happens. Because that happens naturally when you do it. When you learn something that you were interested in without setting your state and intention consciously, that's what you did unconsciously. You were aligned consciously and unconsciously. And that's all you need. A little bit of curiosity. And if need be, that conscious mind to set your state, to set your intention. And then share it. Because if you can then teach it to somebody, you are teaching it to yourself again. You're learning even more. And it's getting more imprinted in your mind, a set of experiences that you can share. I just wanted to say that for a little while, just to give you a boost, give you my support, as it were, to learn as much as you can. And if you would, I always say this, but I'm going to say it every time because I always say this, if you would, share with me what you've learned. And it doesn't have to be through this podcast, through anything. I love to know what people are learning so I can just know that what I've just said is totally correct. That you can learn things that I can't even imagine. And that's a great thing, because then you get my imagination juiced up. So I can go imagineering my way too. And we can share things backwards and forwards. And when you do that, remember, you're teaching. And you're getting it more imprinted in your neurology. Things that fire together, wire together. And the more you do it, the more you're wired. Those neuro pathways. Awesome stuff. Anyway, that's just some encouragement from me on this 5-minute quickie. I just want you to learn as much as you can and then use it, because there's no point in just being an intellectual about this, by the way. Knowing is knowing. Knowing with action is then using that knowledge. And if it can be, and it should be, I guess, good for you, good for others, and good for the planet, then that's all we need, isn't it? With a little bit of sharing. Anyway, that's me. Quick 5-minute quickie that's taken about 9 minutes. Have more fun than you can stand and set those dreams high. Enjoy. Bye-bye now. Hey, during this podcast, I've talked about setting your intention and setting your state. Well, how can you learn to do that? Well, if you remember, there's hypnosis tracks for doing just that. How do you get them? Well, here's 90 seconds to tell you just how. After that, I'll see you next time. Bye now. So, the 90 seconds of hypnosis tracks. Why have I put hypnosis tracks on a separate website? Well, it's so simple really. I wanted you to have them all in one place so you can look through them all. You can find the particular one you want. I've even made them downloadable so you can put them on any of your playing devices that you prefer. You don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need the iTunes or whatever. You can put them anywhere you like. You can even burn them onto disk if you want. Where do you get them? Well, there you go. I told you it's paulcloughonline.com/podcast. If you're worried about your email address, please don't be, because they stay totally safe with me. I only use them to send you out that email and give you access. Simple as that. I send you a link, a special link, so you and only you can access those hypnosis tracks, because I want them just for you. And the other thing about this is you've taken responsibility. I don't want to make these open to everyone, just random. You have taken responsibility to listen and be part of this community of personal development. And I want to help you. I want to help you personally to get your dreams, your goals, and therefore I'm giving you these tools, these protocols, these paradigms, whatever you want to call them, but in deep hypnosis. So just enjoy. Have more fun than you can stand with hypnosis.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.